What's good? It's been a while since I've posted. Honestly, it's just been I've been having a lot of tooth issues. 2 root canals done on it. Thinking I have an infection, might need to have it pulled, but that's besides the point. Coming at you guys with a book review for Tuesdays with Morrie. This book was given to me by my brother's girlfriend. Awesome person, and I understand why she recommended it to me. I think this book really suits her. I think this book, Tuesdays with Morrie, it's a very easy read, and not just in terms of reading it, getting through it, or like understanding it, but I mean it's a page turner. This is a book that you can read and you're not gonna have a lot of moments where you're like, damn, like this thing's dragging. Sometimes I know for sure I can have books like that. It's a moving book. It makes you think, because the whole concept surrounds a dying man and one of his students. The author is the student of the dying man, Morrie. And so the thing that I really enjoyed about this book is the emphasis on death. The whole book revolves around this man losing his body to ALS, and the man facing death with courage, not hiding away, that like most people do when they die. A lot of people don't want to be seen when they're dead or dying, which, I mean, I can relate to. When I walk past pictures on tombstones at my work at the cemetery, I'm like, why are they showing pictures of when they're old? Like, if I'm gonna have a tombstone, I want a picture of when I'm young. You know, I think it brings up a good question of when in your life is it you? What is the proper age? What is the proper point in life where you can say that is the version of yourself that you want to be remembered as? Maybe it's always older pictures because you grow and you learn as you get older. I think it certainly could be like that. I'm sure when I'm 80, if I'm lucky enough to get there, I'll probably think of myself when I'm 40 as an idiot. Similar to how I think of myself when I was 20, 18, as foolish. But this book really focuses on death, and the quote I really liked from it is, "You learn how to live when you learn how to die." I think I made a similar video called Acceptance of Death, which kind of ran parallel to that idea, in terms of learning how to live comes from learning how to die. You need to accept that you are going to die. It's inevitable, and so there's no reason to be afraid of it. I actually have another book review coming. I'm going to record it right after this. Similar topic, similar idea. This man, Morrie, is strong. Even when his body was withering away, when he couldn't do anything by himself, he was very strong, because he understood that the only thing in this world is to love. The only thing to do is to love. That's the only choice that we have. We're here to love without any expectations of reciprocity. And you gain meaning in life through how much love you give to your family, your friends, and your community. A life well lived is one that is surrounded by community, one that is passionate about endeavors in your life. One thing I enjoyed is that the man who wrote this, who was the student, was a journalist, and he would constantly bring back the fact, or he would constantly bring up the news that would be on the TV. Different shootings, strikes, typical news stories, negativity. And then he would look over to his dying professor and forget about the news, realize how insignificant it is, and really focus on the moment that he had with his professor. And that's what you should strive to do. Don't be away from your feet. Don't be away from your surroundings. Don't think about what's going on halfway across the country, what riots are breaking out, what shootings are taking place. You have so much to give and so much to do where you are. It's wasting your energy and your time thinking about things like that are outside of your control and outside of your surroundings. One thing that Morrie was exceptionally skilled in is being present with the person that he was with. And that's why people gravitated to him. He was able to shut out the outside noise and be solely focused on the person that was in front of him. And that is the greatest thing that you can give to somebody that you're interacting with, your undivided attention. We all know that it's not nice, it's not pleasant to talk to somebody and for them to be on their phone, for them to be distracted. It shows that the person doesn't care. And I'm curious to think if anybody who does that is on their phone when people talk to them, would say, oh yeah, like, I'm listening, I care. I don't think anybody would. At least I would hope not. To me, that seems pretty delusional, but I'd have to hear them out. It's a book that would be nice. It would be helpful to read this every so often, because it's not a long book, it's not hard to get through, and it's a good reminder, it's a good reframing of your mentality in your life. To constantly remind yourself that the time we have here is limited and precious. It's too short to be filled with hate and negativity. We need to love holy. That's the energy that surrounds this earth, is love. A nice thing that Morrie found as he approached death was his spirituality. He, I think it said he was an agnostic or an atheist maybe, but as he was dying, he started to see the beauty in life, even when he was helpless. He really saw the meaning in life when most able-bodied people, that's their worst nightmare, not being able to take care of themselves. It's super scary to think about being in that state. But Morrie, when he was in it, he realized just how special other people were to him, and just how special his life was beforehand, and it is now, or it was. He's dead now. Morrie did a few interviews with Nightline. I think the guy's name was like Ted Koppel or something, the interviewer. And apparently it was a massive hit. Everybody loved to tune in to watch this man die. There is a certain fascination that people have with that. Makes sense. Everybody wants to know what happens after you die. And I think people were really moved by his courage facing death. He asked himself every day, look on your shoulder and talk to the bird, similar to like a angel, devil sitting on your shoulder. Talk to the bird of life sitting on your shoulder and ask him, is today the day you die? And what this does is it puts you in a frame of mind how do I say it? It makes you very aware of the fragility of life. And I think it makes you realize what matters and what doesn't when you think about your death every day. Not like all the time, but being aware, cognizant of it. Asking, is today the day I die? And then you need to reflect and ask yourself, are you leading a life where if it is the day you die, have you done enough? Have you lived your life in a way that you can be happy with, today being your last day? If everybody thought like that, the world would be a much better place, because people would lose all the interest in bullshit. The world would probably be less productive, but in a way it would be better, which runs completely opposite to my thinking. My whole mentality around life revolves around productivity, producing more than you consume. To me, that is the mark of a moral person. That is a good life, to produce more than I consume. And if you thought today could be the day you die, maybe you wouldn't be so concerned about your career. I think it makes you realize that the only thing that really matters at the end of the day is your relationships with others. It doesn't matter what you do, doesn't matter what your career is, because we're all going to the same place. Now, I think I need to sit with it more, because I do think the most important thing that we can do as people is to produce, to give to society for the love of your fellow man. I don't think we should throw away careers, I think there needs to be a place for that as a function of society. But I think it certainly could be more in balance for a lot of people. A lot of people bury themselves in work because it's easier than doing the hard work of relationships, of dealing with emotions. It is hard work. It's nasty work. And this kind of leads into another point of the book, where people bury themselves in work and people don't feel their full feelings, especially in men. I'm very good at subduing emotions, and I think it is a very beneficial skill. I think you need to have it, but you don't want to go overboard on it. You need to get your work done. You need to push forward. You can't be bogged down by emotions. But there are two ways to go about doing that. You can suppress your feelings, not feel them, bottle them up, kick the can down the road, or you can feel them fully, which is what Morrie does. He doesn't shy away from his emotions, his feelings. He goes deeper into them and lets them really take over his whole self. And then after you do that, that is the only way you can get through them. When you feel lonely, you should get your work done. You need to push forward. You need to get things done. But it's necessary work to deal with your emotions when you're outside, your external world, your external obligations are completed. When you come home from work, it's necessary, it's vital to your health and your happiness to really delve into the emotions that you feel, to really navigate them. That way they don't build up, and that way they don't control you. You can only control your emotions if you really feel them. You know, I don't think there's probably a difference between controlling your emotions and there are different ways to control them. You can subdue them or you can harness them. I think that is the two things that I'm talking about. Subduing them, you're conquering your emotions, you're pushing them in. You're not letting yourself, your mind, be clouded by them. But when you subdue, when you push down, you are blocking energy. You're blocking energy, your life force. And you're lowering your energy. For one, you're taking energy to stop an emotion from coming out. That's a use of it. And you're also not letting energy flow through. And to me, that isn't a winning battle. Holding down a freaking manhole cover of water, trying to spurt out, you know? That's not a winning battle. That constant force of emotion is going to constantly press up, and it can build and build and build and build until you can't stand over that cover anymore. What you need to do is you need to put a hose on that metaphorical sewer of emotion of that manhole cover, and you need to learn how to harness that. You need to let your emotions flow freely and decide where to put that energy, that emotion. Only after you fully let yourself feel them can you move on, if that makes sense. I think I like that metaphor. Hopefully you guys get that metaphor. But anyways, so yeah, Morrie said he cried like almost every day. But like just for an instant, not an instant, but like for like a minute, and then you move on. Like it's okay to have these emotions, and it's good. It's good to have those emotions, you know. It's your humanness showing. But he did a great job of feeling them, letting them come over him, and then being like, hey, this is just a feeling, this is an emotion. I don't have to feel this. I don't have to let that control me. I can choose to see the good. I can choose to focus on other things. But it's not a subduing, it's a harnessing when you let your emotions flow. It's complicated, I think. I'm probably making it sound more confusing than it is, but I think if you read this book, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's a pretty common book. At least that's what I'm putting together. That's what I'm experiencing. Like I saw it at like a generic picture of a bookstore. It was like in front. I was like, oh wow, like this is like a really common book, I guess, if it's front row. As soon as you walk into a bookstore, it's getting featured. But if you haven't read it, I would strongly recommend that you do. It was, I read it in like a day and a half. Not like a full day, but I mean, probably like, I read at work, so I'd probably say it took me like 4.5 hours. And I'm a slow reader. So like if you're a fast reader, you could probably fly through this thing. It's only like 200 pages, but the pages are small. So, yeah. Beautiful book. Would recommend it. So yeah. Thanks for your time, guys. Have a good one.